Deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on. As Ian Wright just said there, people, Deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. I hope you're doing well and safe. I hope everyone's blessed. To my regular supporters, appreciative to have you lot back tuned in. If you're new here, you know what to do, and that's to hit the subscribe button and turn on them notification bells. Everybody do me a favor. Let's hit the like button. We're finally getting a bit of traction, a bit of motion, people. You know, we're rapidly closing in on 60K. The journey for 2024 is to reach 70K. I can't do it alone. I need you lot support. So yeah, make sure you're doing all of that and boosting the YouTube algorithm. Now, as we know, Arsenal will be playing against Manchester City when the Premier League action recommences. On the eve of doing this video, it's England against Brazil, actually, which should be an interesting watch. Glorified friendly. I'm sure that, well, there has been a lot of people pulling out of the Brazil squad, and obviously out of England, Declan Rice Pulisic as well. But yeah, now Thomas Partey, I'm considering doing a piece on this, like a tactical analysis kind of video where Partey is concerned. Obviously, he's contracted until 2025. There are some rumors that say he has a contract, a heavily incentivized contract on the table in terms of a new deal at Arsenal. It's well known we tried to move him on last year. He's a quality player, but where he is concerned, you never really see the man. And, you know, there has to be a correlation between him being fit for a sustained long period of time last season and obviously us fighting for a league title. Arteta always talks about his importance. We've been fighting for a league title allegedly. I don't look at the league table this season. Partey has been on the peripheral things because the man cannot stay fit. With rumours of potentially bringing in another central midfielder, Jorginho getting a new deal. Obviously, Declan Rice and Kai Havertz have come in for big money. We obviously are going to spend some money in the summer. Existing key players have signed new deals. Arsenal probably have to shed better yet, apologies, some of the wages off the wage bill when Partey's abilities there. But from a business point of view, if you've got somebody in any other walk of life who is great at their job, one of the best in their division or in their department, but they rarely are there to perform, or you know, they're always sick and ill and need sick pay and things, it does not make sense. Allegedly, and again, I don't know, for these ITKs and these blogs and all of these things, it just provides talking points. Let me know whether you would actually sell Partey or persist with Thomas Partey. It's a weird one because, you know, Declan Rice has been a revelation for this football club. He's been absolutely amazing. I'm sure, you know, one love to Jorginho, one love to Smith Rowe and Fabio Vieira, who have been given minimal but opportunities to play in the left eight. Obviously, Kai Havertz looking a lot better up front than he did in the left eight. But that midfield partner or that long-term partner for Declan Rice in the middle of the park for Arsenal Football Club is still an air of doubt. And I don't think we have someone like Declan Rice. It doesn't matter if Arteta wants to play him on the right-hand side of a six or on as a left eight, whatever Arteta wants to do from a tactical point of view, Declan Rice is going to be there. You know, Jorginho's a great player, quality player, but he's not a 38-game kind of midfielder. Kai Havertz, some games have been better than others in the left eight. Smith Rowe and Fabio Vieira haven't really grabbed the minimal opportunities they've had, and they've both got injury issues. So I think we're lacking that long-term Declan Rice partner personally. And, you know, they're completing the trio. You've got Odegaard, you've got Rice. You get a next one on these lots levels, then we've got one of the best midfield trios in world football. I'm not saying they're the biggest and baddest, but it's great. And many of us Arsenal fans, of course, we wanted to see Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, you know, in the trio. And then you add in the Salibas, the Gabriels, whoever is on the left-hand side, Benjamin White, David Raya with his passing, whoever you want to go with up front, the two sick wonder kids in Saka and Martinelli, and the creative options throughout the team that Mikel Arteta can flirt with, we're ticking in the right direction. Allegedly, and I don't know if these articles are the truth or whatnot, it's just talking points and videos for you lot. As I said, let me know your thoughts. Apparently, Thomas Partey favours a move back to La Liga at the end of the season if he cannot remain with the Gunners. Football Transfers understands. It's a bit weird, you know. I don't begrudge him. He made his name in La Liga, but he has been linked with numerous times with a move to Italy and the Saudi Arabia rumours. Partey's contract at the Emirates Stadium expires in 2025. As I said, there's rumours that he has a new deal on the table for some reason or another that's not been signed or whatever's happening there. There are some rumours that say Arsenal actually have a one-year option in his current contract, a bit like Jorginho, to extend by a further year. Apparently, while the players' favoured option is to stay put, the Premier League title hopefuls are eager to sell in order to boost their financial position. There have been no talks overextending his deal, although the door remains slightly ajar for Partey to save his career. Sources close to the 30-year-old have informed Football Transfers, now everyone can say sources, that although there were huge wage offers from clubs in the Saudi Pro League at the beginning of the current season, the Ghana international wishes to move back to La Liga, where obviously he was at Atletico Madrid. Apparently, Sociedad are one of the clubs that have expressed their interest in signing the former Atletico Madrid defensive midfielder. And we've obviously been linked with their player in Zubamendi. Is there a deal to be done there? I am not too sure. With Kieran Tierney going to Sociedad, then you must imagine there's relatively positive communication channels between the two clubs. And even just that, if you're Thomas Partey, again, if the club want to move you on, do your thing. If you want to move on, do your thing. If you want to stay, do your thing. But obviously, he's on big wages and he's earned a lot of money. Not that I'm pocket watching, but a football career is short. He is contracted until 2025. Could you argue if he's comfortable in London, if he's comfortable with the project? You know, Partey is loved by Mikel Arteta. It's just the man can't stay fit. Could it be worth, if you put yourself in Thomas Partey's shoes and also considering the upward trajectory our football club's on, could you say, you know what, I'm going to stay another year. I'm going to run down my contract. I become a free agent. I might be more of a sexier, attractive option for other clubs. You know, could I ask you lot the question, away from his ability, who needs to move on more from this situation? Arsenal with Thomas Partey or Thomas Partey with Arsenal? I'm going to just let you lot, you know, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to smash the like button. Allegedly, Real Sociedad are willing to pay no more than 25 million for the midfielder, which is half the price that Arsenal splashed out on him in 2020 when we got him from Atletico Madrid. I mean, 25 million. Obviously, I don't think we're going to bring in two midfielders. I would love to bring in an 8 and a 6, but I think we've got multifunctional players. Obviously, Declan Rice is there. Jorginho might sign a new deal, and he probably will. You'd imagine we need a midfielder anyways. If Partey stays, we need one anyways. But you'd imagine one midfielder in, maybe a multifunctional 8/6 hybrid. And then obviously Thomas Partey keeps it moving. So it could be interesting. But then you could argue if they're willing to pay 25 million euros for an injury-prone 30-year-old, will Arsenal ever be in a position to get that sort of fee for Thomas Partey? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Apparently, Almeria tried to go and get him as well. He spent a season there on loan. He's only played 6 times for Arsenal this season. It's crazy considering the ups and downs. You know, we've started the season well, beat City, beat Liverpool. Obviously, you know, we had a tough run in December and we're back to the business now. Dramatic comeback against Porto. And Thomas Partey's been on the periphery of things really and truly, and by default has become a fringe player. Moving on from that, I'm not too sure on Jeremy Frimpong. I love him going forward. I think he's a good option and I would have him. I don't know if he's strong enough defensively to play in a back four. Nonetheless, he's consistently linked with Bayern Munich, Arsenal and Man United. Allegedly, he previously agreed to move to Bayern Munich. Apparently, Xabi Alonso could be going there and he actually could be targeting Zubamendi. So that could be interesting. But apparently, nothing's been decided. His form has been good. Apparently, in the summer, he'll be available for 40 million euros. And the 23-year-old has interest from Arsenal, who are looking at him in the winter, as well as Manchester United with Ten Hag. Bayern Munich remain keen on his signature, people. Keeping up the theme with defenders, I know in the last couple of weeks when we have been linked with sporting players, it's been Goya Keres. Now we're back on the Diamonde shouts, where we wanted him from his days at Denmark, allegedly. Reports in Portugal, aka Ebola, state that Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Arsenal, Bayern Munich and Juventus are all interested in signing the Ivory Coast international. The 20-year-old has a release clause of 80 million, can play centre-half as well as fullback. Can't see us spending that kind of money on him. I do think we need to bring in another defensive body, but I don't see us spending 80 million on him, 50 odd on a centre mid, 50 odd on another winger. Anything from 50 to 100 on a striker. Obviously, we've got money. Things need to happen if we want to go there. But I can't imagine that. I think, you know, where we splash the serious money in some aspects, we might be a bit cheap and cheerful in others, really. And they'll make a handsome profit on him, really, if they, you know, they bought him for 7.5 million euros. They owe his previous club 20%. He is contracted until 2027. So we'll have to see. Arsenal and Manchester United apparently are still vying for the signature of Dewsbury Hall of Leicester, who Leicester apparently in some financial issues where that will add fuel to the room of fire even more, really. English homegrown could, I don't think he takes us to the next level, but could be a decent option for the squad. And if Arteta wants him, fair enough. There are some decent players in the Championship and have been there for years. Mikel Sylvester, formerly of Man United and Arsenal, said Lokonga should be given a second chance at the club. I'm all for second chances, and where other players leave or inability to bring in other players, fate could see him get an opportunity. But then if I play devil's advocate and you see where this football club is going, and we all know the areas we as fans would like to address, or the majority of areas we'd like to address, could you argue, while it would be great if we could plug the gaps with existing options, with the form of Lokonga, with the form of a young Mika Beref, with Charlie Patino doing well at Swansea, not really of recent because he's on the bench, but decent there, building on what he's doing at Blackpool. You throw in at Aaron Ramsdale, allegedly Nelson is getting interest from AC Milan and Brighton and all these clubs, 30 million or so. We're not going to sell all of these players. Everyone that's linked with a move isn't going to go. But these guys could bring in serious resources to, to offset the balance of what we're probably on paper going to spend. We already know for our summer, we've already spent 27 million because we owe money for Raya, and his move's going to be made permanent. So it's going to be a bit of a creative one, I believe, man. So yeah, I would all be for Lokonga getting a chance. Cynically, respectfully to Luton, I mean, if a Belgium international Arsenal central midfielder cannot stand out at a glorified Championship side, with the greatest of respect to Luton, then something's got to be wrong. Take nothing away from him. He looks confident. He's showing his consistencies. He has been known to pick up injuries, and I would love to see him play and do his thing at Arsenal. But could you be cynical and say we fall into that trap of people coming back from loans and we're romantic and we want to give them an opportunity? Do we just sell him, get our money, and reinvest in a central midfielder, as I said earlier, that is going to be a proper partner for Declan Rice and a great option in the side? Because again, you could be a squad player, you could take El Nene's role, but do you provide more than what a Jorginho does on the football field? Do you provide more than what a Thomas Partey if he stayed on the football field? If we get an Onana or a Douglas Luiz, a Zuba Mendy, what have you, can you bring something to that table in that regards? If not, then you could argue it's time to part ways. You could also throw in selling Eddie Nketiah as well, to the example I gave earlier. There's been some fixture changes completely off topic in April. Arsenal's game against Wolves people has now been scheduled for 7:30 on the 20th of April, which is a Saturday. Arsenal versus Chelsea has a date. It will be on April the 23rd, on a Tuesday, that is, and that will kick off at 8 p.m. Arsenal's North London derby away to Tottenham Hotspurs will be on the 28th of April at 2 p.m. kickoff. And apparently, or if Arsenal reach the Champions League semi-finals, where hopefully, which would mean the first leg would be on the 30th of April, which is a Tuesday, Arsenal's game against Spurs would be moved to a noon kickoff, well, half past noon, 12:30 on a Saturday, April the 28th. And when Mikel Arteta says we've got one of the finished squads, the games are coming thick and fast in this business end of the season. So we do need, in the summer, if we keep announcing ourselves as being contenders and getting to latter stages of tournaments, we probably need some more players of quality within the squad. On the topic of Eddie Nketiah, Romano has said the future of Eddie Nketiah at Arsenal is up in the air, as there's a real possibility that the player will leave the Emirates Stadium this summer. Nketiah could be used to make way for a new striker, which is one of the priorities in the summer for the Gunners. Nketiah's situation is very open, but there's nothing concrete yet, people. So we'll have to see where Eddie's concerned. And he's someone that every week there's another club being linked with him. Apparently Wolves, Brentford and Crystal Palace are already in bid. So, him and Reece Nelson, two players that are on the peripheral, if they're going to give us 30 odd for Eddie Nketiah and 30 odd for Reece Nelson, that's 60 million on two players on the peripheral things. That obviously helps with our net spend. And, word to my guy Mo Hader, not that I'm an accountant and all of these things. Big him up. Nketiah could leave Arsenal this summer amid interest from Crystal Palace, Brentford and Wolves. It's believed the Premier League trio are already in moves for Nketiah 24 amid his lack of game time at the Emirates. Well-placed sources have told Football Insider that the one-cap England international will have a decision to make on his future in the off-season. I mean, you can't imagine him going off to the Euros or adding to that England cap if your situation at Arsenal remains. Apparently, Crystal Palace were keen to bring him to Selhurst Park in January and could reignite their interest this summer, while Brentford are monitoring him as a replacement for Ivan Toney, who looks likely to depart. Wolves are apparently keeping tabs on him as well. He's made 13 starts in all comps. Despite his limited game time, he's got 6 goals and 3 assists across 33 appearances in all comps. But as it says here, 3 of those goals, take nothing away from Eddie, all came in one game where he netted a hat-trick. And, goal scoring is one thing. Where you look at all the other aspects Mikel Arteta demands of a striker in his system, you look at Kai Havertz, Trossard, Gabriel Jesus. If they're not scoring, they're affecting the game in ways that unfortunately Eddie can't. You know, things that might take Eddie 4 to 5 touches to do, these men are doing it in 1, 2, 3 max. So it is what it is. And you'd imagine Eddie Nketiah needs to go somewhere where he's going to play on a consistent basis to really, you know, make a name for himself in world football, which is a bit mad to say that about someone wearing the number 14, the only striker in this club at the moment who's got a hat-trick this season, obviously been capped by his country, and at times has obviously kept Gabriel Jesus out of the team. But you'd imagine a new striker comes in, Kai Havertz looks better up front, Trossard can play up there, you've got Jesus, and whether you're a striker, a winger, a multifunctional guy like Havertz, only X amount can start games and be in the squad. So there you have it. And he could leave Arsenal with his head held high. And if, you know, it's been a success story. He got released from Chelsea, doing what he's doing, as I've just said. Make our money and let's keep it moving. Miguel Gutierrez, a left back that has continuously been linked with Arsenal, is actually keen to return to Real Madrid, allegedly, despite interest from Bayern Munich, Man United and Arsenal, as well as Chelsea. He wants to return to Real Madrid, regardless of the rumours linking Alphonso Davies to an impending move to Real Madrid. That left-hand side, assuming Vinicius goes up front, which is probably Mbappe or full stop, between Mbappe, Vinicius, and on paper, Alphonso Davies at Real Madrid, you wouldn't want to be a defender against them. Real Madrid are building one scary team. Apparently, Raheem Sterling is increasingly likely to leave Chelsea in the summer, and his preference is to join a Premier League rival or embark on a fresh challenge in one of Europe's leading divisions. Sterling, I think it's time to go abroad. Where you go, I don't know. Would you take him at Arsenal, people? On one hand, I would say no, he's going to be on big wages. But on the other hand, he is a Premier League legend. He has got a lot of experience. Mikel Arteta has obviously worked with Sterling before. Could that be something? And he can play across a number of roles. I'm not saying we should. I'm just asking the questions, people. Smash the like button and continuously let me know your thoughts. Moving away from that, Joshua Kimmich, who this week's been linked with Arsenal as well as several other clubs, he said, I still have over a year left on my contract, so I'm relaxed about it. It's very interesting and important to know who will be the new coach. So that tells you where his priorities are at, despite who he's been linked with. My first priority now is to make this season as positive as possible. Fair enough. Again, because of Mbappe and all these players going to Real Madrid, naturally, rumours of exits with certain players are going to add fuel to the fire. I think there's a reality, regardless of who plays, and there's many combinations where Vinicius, Rodrygo, Kylian Mbappe, who all of these guys, I think they could all coexist together. You know, Rodrygo says, I like to play as a 10, for example. Could you imagine Mbappe up front, Vinicius on the left, Rodrygo through the 10, Bellingham doing what he's doing in that role, and all the other stars is crazy. But they've obviously bringing in Endrick as well. But apparently, you know, he's been linked with Premier League clubs as a result of Kylian Mbappe, who's remained quite tight-lipped on his impending move to Real Madrid. Apparently, Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, and Arsenal have all contacted Real Madrid regarding the availability of Rodrygo in the summer. It'd be a lovely signing, if I'm completely honest with you. But as I always say, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. As you know, it appears Arsenal are being quite aggressive in recruiting stars of tomorrow. Apparently, Irish teenage Linfield star Nketiah O'Neill, forgive me for mispronunciation, is set to move to Arsenal at the end of the season. Apparently, he played as a trialist for our academy side in Brazil in that cup where Flamengo hosted. So never seen him play like that beyond the highlights. Looks a decent player. I mean, if you bring him in at 15, 16 and he develops all the way to the first team, great stuff. Or if he develops to a point where you're like Smith Rowe and Nketiah Nelson, where you could be sold on, great stuff as well, people. So big him up and, you know, welcome in advance. Keeping up the theme with teenagers, Arsenal have once again been linked with Juventus defender Dean Huijsen, who's actually born on April the 14th, 24 hours after me, people. He's 18 years of age. He's currently on loan at Roma, people. After obviously moving there on loan from Juventus, Arsenal as well as Manchester United and Newcastle United still remain linked with the 18-year-old, soon to be 19-year-old. So it makes sense that someone of his age profile and relative experience is being linked with the club. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on everything we've discussed. Don't forget to smash the like button, leave a comment after. Appreciative of you lot tuned in. That's it for now, folks. Check out the rest of the content. As I said, we're trying to get to 70k. I can't do it on my own, people, and I need you lot support. Stay safe, stay blessed. Make sure you're turning on your notification bells. Thank you for listening. Peace.